What is up, guys? My name is Mark, aka Soldier Knows Best. This is another episode of Soldier Tech Battlefield. This is a special episode because we have a guest coming on for this one. His name is Jon Rettinger. You probably know him better here on YouTube and the internet as Jon for Lakers. Should be Jon for Heat here in a second, but Jon for Lakers, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. And of course, he's a host of Driven, which is another episode here on the Tech Feed channel. Definitely check that out. But this episode, we're going to be arguing iOS versus Android. One of the most heated debates that always happens. Jon's going to be taking the Android side, and I'm going to be taking the iOS side. And we're going to argue this, and we're going to hear what you guys think about this argument and this debate down in the comments down below. But the first category we're going to talk about is design. I'm going to let you just tell us what you think about the overall design of Android.
It is beautiful to use. You can customize it, you can put skins on, and even if you say, listen, I love the simplicity of iOS, you can put on an Apple skin to make it look like an iOS device. You can customize the heck out of the thing and make it look any way that you want, which you can't do on an iPhone. What you got?
Well, I give you all those things. You're definitely right on Android. You can customize it to your liking, make it look the way that you want it to. But also to, if you're using iOS and you really want to customize, it takes you about 2 minutes to jailbreak. And you have, I think a jailbroken iPhone you can get, or a jailbroken iOS device, you can probably get more customization out of a rooted Android device. What do you think?
All right, so the counterpoint to that is, the nice thing about Android is you can buy a ton of different Android devices on every carrier. If you want the unscanned, naked, unadulterated Android, go buy an Nexus device. You've got that option. If you want to scan, you have the option to go buy that as well. You can have that choice that you just don't have with Apple.
The major problem of the Android is that these devices are so different, and when it comes to a major update, maybe like Jelly Bean, it's going to take some devices like the S3 here in the US still hasn't gotten the Jelly Bean update, even though that's probably easily the most popular Android phone of all time.
Android has been notoriously bad with getting updates on their phone. Samsung, Motorola, HTC, it takes time. The only ones that really get them are the Nexus devices, and certainly when a new version of iOS comes out, usually it's pushed to pretty much almost all legacy devices right away. So when it comes to upgradability, yeah, iOS will take it. I always give the advice to people, if you're looking to buy an Android phone, be happy with the OS it ships with, because you might not get another one.
But you definitely got a good point. Android is definitely out of the box the easiest device to customize, where iOS, you definitely gonna have to do something different than the one Apple kind of give you, the limitation that Apple does on their device. So anyway, guys, that is the design category. We have this nice little start to it. I think we have some good points coming from both sides. Now we're gonna move on to applications. What Apple has done with iOS and with the applications, they built up a very strong base of developers to continually to make applications that come out on a regular basis, new apps, apps to take advantage of the phone. And I would say that applications overall on iOS seem to kind of perform a little bit better. The design is a little bit better, and I kind of compare it to the way apps look on a Mac computer to the way it looks on a Windows computer. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about applications?
So I think it'd be foolish to argue against quality of apps on iOS. I mean, the apps are incredible, and they're built knowing what the hardware that's going to run them in mind is going to be. Now, on the other side, certainly there's a quantity of apps in Android, and there are plenty of quality apps in the Google Play Store. So they might not look as pretty as they do in iOS because they know what hardware it's going to be run for, but the functionality is still always there, and you have more choice what the apps can do. They have access to more APIs than you have with the iOS. If you want more and more functionality, Android's going to be a great way to go. If you want the best app experience, then certainly iOS is going to be hard to look away from.
All right, guys, well, that's the application category here. This is weird to be talking to Jon like this. A lot of people think we hate each other, but we're actually pretty cool. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is the voice assistant / search. Because Apple really hit it big with Siri last year, launching on the iPhone 4S. Siri was a very popular voice assistant that can help you do things like schedule calendar appointments, look up random information on the internet. But definitely Google has come out this year with their own kind of response to Siri. I would say Siri is actually more intelligent, more personable, as far as you can talk to it and you can ask it the question in many different ways, and they'll give you an answer because it kind of can read the human response, or really just the human tone as far as the questions that you can ask it. And you can have a lot more fun with Siri as well too. You can definitely ask some jokes to it that may be good for little kids and things like that. But I think that one of the main things with Siri is also too is presentation of the information. So Siri not only gives you the answer, but they may also give you some other information as well. And when you're looking up movie times, looking up sports scores, I like the overall presentation of Siri over Google, which sometimes will kind of just take you to a Google search result page.
Do you want your voice assistant to tell you how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Or do you want it to give you the answer to what you're looking for. And I think for me, I just want the answer. I want to know what time the movie's playing, and I want it to launch. And also one thing we didn't touch on is integration of Google Search and Google Now, which is a really awesome way to get information, know what traffic's going to be going home, sports scores, all without really having to do much with your phone.
Right. And speaking of integration, I would have to say that Siri is a little bit more integrated into the OS itself, where you can ask it to open up applications. You can easily set up reminders and calendar appointments, I think a little bit more fluidly than what you can do with Google Search. And you can really kind of tap into the OS and do certain things with it that you can't really do with Google Search just yet.
And the big thing, Mark, the big difference for me is Siri, when you ask it a question, is going to use Google to get the answer. Google Search is Google.
The President of the United States of America is Barack Obama.
I'm pretty sure this is probably not going to be the only time we talk about this. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more categories that we can go over. Now, what I want you guys to do right now is leave a comment down below. But who you thought won in each category? You think John won with Android? You think I won with iOS? Put down all the different categories. And actually, I'll put something in the description box you can copy and paste. John, you can check him out here on Driven, here on the Tech Feed channel. Also to John for Lakers channel here on YouTube. And also to TechnoBuffalo.com.
Thank you for having me, Mark. It's always fun to get a chance to talk. And surprisingly, what we just did in our debate is pretty much how our conversations go whenever we see each other in person.
That is true. All right, man. Again, thanks, John, for coming out. I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Soldiers Tech Battlefield, and I will catch you later. Peace. But you don't want to be recording the entire time, wasting storage. You can basically kind of just go ahead and play through that. Once you get that perfect moment, that perfect headshot, rewind back in the software,